Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning, and I'm a veteran of the professional wrestling business for over a decade. And I'm joined, as always, by my friend, my bike gang member, my future employer, my future employee. So, Zane Riley, how you doing? I'm glad you didn't cancel on this podcast, even though everybody seems to be canceling on you today. So I appreciate you not canceling on me.
This, I just had a female ladies wrestling show, Queens of Combat, and I believe everyone that could cancel did cancel, including my huge main event. So I'm great, Jake. How are you?
I'm great, but normally we would just banter on back and forth. We don't want to, because normally, when we do pro wrestling in the mainstream media, it's just me and Zane, and we ride solo. But part of the reason why this whole podcast today exists is because a man reached out to me, a man that I know quite well, a man who has ruined every day off that I've had for almost a year now. Because he's like, hey, let's do this crazy podcast called 10 Belt Pod, which is not competition to this podcast, unlike you murderous fucking traitor.
I don't even know how.
And he said, hey, are you interested in Suburban Commando? Which is the topic of discussion. But the man who threw this out and then brought a comedian along for the ride with him all the way up from Atlanta and for this podcast.
That makes it sound like he's not a comedian.
Sometimes. And the man who I'm discussing is Nick Alexander, and along for the ride is Spencer Taylor. Spencer, how are you doing today? And Nicholas, how are you doing today?
Woohoo! Good.
Meh. Just very meh.
And you guys have a lot of people canceling your show too?
So,
I guess we'll see.
See, it's not so bad that you have, him from your other podcast here. It's more so that he's sitting in my seat, and I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, we had to shuffle things. Oh, listen, we had to shuffle things around.
I get the arm, and that's cool.
You get Micah's arm, which I'm using, which is normally a 10 Bell Pod edition, but it's now become a How Did This Get Booked. So thank you, Nicholas, for making all this happen.
It's the invasion. I wear my NWO shirt. It's
NWO
10 Bell Pod for life, brother.
I should have got my LWO shirt and come in for my extra talented end of it all.
I could have wore the 10 Bell Pod t-shirt, just really push it home. Because, I'm sure there'll be plenty of plugs for 10 Bell Pod.
Is this our sold out?
Yeah, this is our sold out.
This is our sold out episode?
Yeah, we need Eric Bischoff to come in and talk about fat chicks. That's what we need to talk about. So
I'll talk about fat chicks if you want.
Well, that's why you're on the show.
That's right. In a positive way.
In a positive way, because you're very sex positive. But we have been getting a lot of
fat chicks positive.
This is very true. But also been getting a lot of positive reviews online, and I'm going to read off the same people that have been online before.
Yep.
Because we recorded this podcast a few hours after the last podcast.
Because we do things different these days.
We do things a lot different. We get ahead, very far ahead, because my schedule dictates it so. But as always, we do this one thing where if you leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher, we will say your name on the podcast until somebody else dethrones you as the most recent review, but also once you write a review and you get up with me and slide into my DMs and leave me your address and your shirt size, I will mail you out a free t-shirt for How Did This Get Booked. Maybe a free t-shirt for 10 Bell Pod too. I got a lot of those sitting around right now. But right now on iTunes, Eric Els is still sitting at the top of her iTunes. We appreciate that. And then on Stitcher, still sitting on top of the poll is Binbird. Obviously, somebody from Australia has left a review.
A sex-positive person from Australia, because as we know, it means a loose woman.
It means a loose woman. Binbird, I don't know if you guys know this, but Binbird, it means loose women.
Like a trash can.
Like a trash can. Like a trashy, but like bird as in woman, bird and then bin. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in trash. So like a trashy woman is basically it's a slang word in Australia. Spencer.
Does it have a positive spin?
Yeah. Because
about how you wear it.
Because a lot of like Australian women have taken over their sexuality, and that's like I'm a bin bird. You know what I'm saying? Like
who had control of their sexuality before?
Alabama.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Topical motherfuckers.
Very topical.
Hopefully that's rectified by the time this podcast actually comes out. Or there'll be
or welcome to The Handmaid's Tale. Here we are.
Or it'll be one of 12 states. It sits at 5 at press time right now, but I'm sure it'll be 12 by the time this podcast comes out.
Hold my beer, Texas. Waiting on you, buddy.
With that being said, Spencer, you didn't come here on your own volition, right?
I did.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Blink twice if you're in trouble.
Yeah, blink twice. I don't know if Nicholas has you over some sort of David Koreshian type control right now.
I'm not that good at guitar.
But you got that sweet David Koresh hair right now.
It's coming.
You put on some dad glasses, you look like David Koresh. I know you can play guitar, so... but let's get into this because we actually have a show in about, I don't know, less than an hour from now. So
what time is that?
Well,
9?
The show starts at 10.
Okay.
It'll probably be a little bit late because people get there late just because I don't know why. Also, too, some people don't show up right when the show happens. They think that the doors open at 10. We're like, no, doors have been open since 9. It's a whole thing.
It's a video store. It's been open all day.
All day, and people just wait to the absolute last minute to get there.
Fashionably late.
But it is one of the better rooms that I run. But one of the better things that I don't do is I have a conversation about a movie entitled Suburban Commando. Like I said, Nicholas, why did you throw this out here for us to discuss this?
This is my Passion of the Christ.
Okay.
I'm out. Later.
I love this movie. I remember it from when I was a kid, and when we were rewatching it, I was just giddy like a little schoolgirl the entire time. It was fantastic.
And Spencer, how did you get talking to this?
He said, we have to watch this. It's great. And we watched it. And it was a movie that I watched. It existed.
That's kind of how I feel about it, too, because I started watching this, and as I was watching, I was like, gosh, some of this feels familiar. And then then halfway through, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this movie before. I saw this on NBC when it was on NBC one time, and I'm like, no wonder why I know the punchline to all of these jokes that are kind of jokes, I guess.
Shit happens in such random, fast-paced succession that shit is just nonstop bananas the entire fucking time. This is happening, and now kids are gonna get hit by that car, but let's go chase that car down. Let's put this car over. Now Christopher Lloyd's here. Oh, let's go back over here now. Here's a cat. Goodbye, cat.
Yeah, it moved so fast,
but got nowhere. But it was so long.
Yeah, there was no story to this. It was like the whole thing was set up to be carried by Hulk Hogan's charisma, and spoiler alert, it did not get carried well.
Shit all over your childhood.
No, he did not do an Ultimate Warrior carry job on this movie.
He did not have his Thunder in Paradise chops yet. He sounded very rehearsed.
Yeah, Thunder in Paradise was way better than this movie was.
I mean, it's no Santa with muscles, so.
Well, that's what's weird. Santa with Muscle, I would say, is worse than this. And Santa with Muscle, he had seasons of Thunder in Paradise underneath his belt. This is the second movie he did. Just to give you a couple more particulars, because people love it when I read stuff off the IMDb page.
Yeah.
This movie was released October 4th of 1991. The budget for this movie was $11 million and grossed between $7 and $8 million. And opening weekend, they got $1.9 million. This movie, fun fact, was actually originally titled Urban Commando.
Whoa, not with Hulk Hogan.
And he was like, no, brother.
Yes. And then somebody told him what urban meant, and he goes, oh, no, it can't be called Urban Commando.
You talk about being bloated.
And actually, this movie was intended to star Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Danny DeVito as Christopher Lloyd?
Yes.
Yes. I would have liked that movie so much more. Although I love Christopher Lloyd.
And then I think it became, then what they were going to do became twins, and I think that there's some sort of connection between this movie and twins.
So, they're in the same universe?
Yeah, and the commando part was he was like a war commando, not from space. The space element was added when Hulk Hogan came in.
But that was half the fucking movie.
Yeah.
That was literally the movie.
But instead of this alien that they were fighting, it was a terrorist of some sort.
Jesus.
This was early 90s, so I'm guessing Soviet Russia terrorists?
So
That or drug dealer was what it would be rewritten into, like a drug dealing terrorist, kind of like what they did with the James Bond movie. Like it wasn't one thing that he was kind of like a terror; he was like a drug dealer as well. They can combine things together. So
his ignorance is explained by the fact that he's an alien man. But if they take away the alien part, was Schwarzenegger just going to be fucking just stupid? Period. Like that's it. Like, he's just dumb.
All he knows is war. All he knows how to is to just murder people, and that's all he knows.
Like Major Payne.
Yeah.
Is there any wrestlers in Major Payne? Can we watch
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow.
There we go.
Full circle.
What we're watching next week, guys.
I don't know. A cameo appearance is stretching it for the wrestlers in the mainstream media part. Like, if that's the case, then we got to watch Rocky 3 on this podcast. So.
I mean...
But Hulk Hogan wasn't the only wrestler in this movie. We also see an appearance by Undertaker where he plays a space bounty hunter called Hutch.
Which is still better than American Badass.
Yeah.
This is true. This is very true. Also, starring, obviously, is Christopher Lloyd. He plays Charlie Wilcox. Also, Shelley Duvall will be playing Jenny Wilcox. Comedian Larry Miller is the boss. And then the son, Mark, is Michael Faustino, who is the younger brother of Bud Bundy. David Faustino. So, the young girl with the cat is Elizabeth Moss, who stars in Mad Men and Handmaid's Tale. Very timely.
Wow.
So, just to let you guys know
I just made that joke a moment ago.
You did. And it's all connected. It's like an improv scene. You put something out.
That's Peggy from Mad Men?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That little girl.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, Peggy from Mad Men.
Like 5, so.
Yeah, this is like one of her first roles.
Nice.
So think about it. It's like, started with Hulk
She
Hogan.
got that Hulk Hogan rub.
Mm-hmm. Sprinkle a little Hulk dust on Elizabeth Moss and got Mad Men.
Hit the ground running.
Yep. The director of this movie was Burt Kennedy, who... No. Opposite end of the spectrum, he directed a lot of westerns, one specifically called War Wagon with John Wayne. Mm. So think about it. You work with John Wayne and Hulk Hogan.
I mean, they're basically the same guy, right?
That makes him the most American director of all time.
Take that, Tarantino.
Unfortunately, this was his last film he ever directed.
Because of retirement or because of shame?
Because he was ruined.
Pick your own adventure. Pick your own adventure.
Switch to a different page.
This movie was written by Frank Capello. He's Italian. How about that? This is his first ever
Hulkster. Yeah,
this is his first ever writing credit. He also has a writing credit for the movie Constantine, and he's also contracted to write the second one. Another piece of
second Suburban Commando.
No. Oh, Constantine. We're not lucky. We're not on that timeline. We're not in the brighter, shinier version of the timeline. That is going
to be with Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt.
Oh, we can only hope.
Yeah,
can only hope. During the filming of this movie, this may surprise you, someone died.
No, checks out.
Yeah, checks out. They were testing a trap door, and it didn't work out.
Oh,
like they're at the end where they fall through the floor?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Oh.
So basically, I'm guessing the trap door didn't work. That's why he died.
How far above was this trap door to something?
I don't know. That's all I know. The particular somebody died in the filming of this movie.
Man, imagine giving your life for this movie.
There's a special place in heaven for you, just out of pity.
Speaking of giving things, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but some props were reused for this movie. The device to hunt down the gun is actually the PKE meter from Ghostbusters. Ah. And a lot of the guns that you see in this movie are from the movie Masters of the Universe.
No shit.
It's basically like somebody walked in the prop department like, hey, are you using these? Nah, okay, I'm going to go make a movie with Hulk Hogan. Yeah, go take whatever you want. Like somebody's toy box, you know?
They did that with the plot, too.
And the movie still cost $11 million? They borrowed half of this stuff.
Hulk's got to get paid.
I guess.
But anyways, we get into the beginning. It starts off a space fight that looks very similar to Star Wars.
But worse graphics.
Yeah, like surprisingly, like a movie that came out 20 years after Star Wars looks worse than Star Wars. This whole sequence where he's supposed to save the president, it doesn't. And the president clearly is like right there in front of him and in the grasp of an alien that he beats later in the film and just sees him go, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to fucking leave now.
Gotta go.
I was just like, he's right there. Like, all you got to do is just knock this alien off, and you save the president. Be like, nah, I'm just gonna get out here and blow everybody up.
Did the president throw an envelope? Is that what he did, and it cut off the bad guy's hand?
Yeah, like a card,
like Gambit.
Yeah, like, is this President Gambit
Yeah,
from X-Men?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't understand why all the henchmen on this spacecraft look like the indie wrestler Glenn Osborne. For those of you who have a guilty pleasure of early CCW as something that you like, but yeah, it was just real weird and set up. And I kept thinking the whole time this movie was going on that I was like, man, if this movie was directed by Paul Verhoeven, like, this would be an awesome fucking film. Do you guys know who Paul Verhoeven is? This is where we need Micah. We should have brought Micah to have a full invasion of 10 Bell Pod.
I mean, I'll go. I'll go to Vizar and then just work his shift, and then he can come here and knock this out.
Well, I'll tell you, Paul Verhoeven was the director of RoboCop, Total Recall,
all right,
and Basic Instinct, and Showgirls.
Well, I mean, of course, the top four, the Mount Rushmore of movies, as I call it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I kept thinking, I was like, man, if Paul Verhoeven did this, like, it'd have a satirical sense to it, and then the
it would just be a different Total Recall.
Yeah,
except it happened on Earth instead of Mars.
And Hulk Hogan would be involved.
Oh man!
But
was supposed to be Schwarzenegger.
Sorry, this is happening.
You know what made us laugh is that they shot this whole long scene, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like, shoot, Hulk Hogan. And then they started rolling the credits. I was like
on a big punchline of his, we were waiting for this line to drop.
Yeah, it was like, aren't we 20 minutes into this? Why are you rolling the credits now? What's
credit time?
Well, they got to have a cold open. It's like a James Bond movie where you have to have that cold open, but they didn't have the Maurice Bender to do a title sequence. I'm throwing out a lot of names in movies, and you guys somebody out there is laughing at all these movie references. I swear to God, I promise you. It might only be Micah. It might only be Micah. Me and Micah, and that's it. Then finally, Hulk Hogan is told that he needs a vacation, so he goes to Earth, and then we hear a rap song over the title credits.
We also hear Hulk Hogan talk about how much he hates Earthlings, which is a huge point. Seeing as soon thereafter he'll also hate black people. But
he narrowed it down.
Yeah.
So he's progressed a little bit.
Now he's just a species.
Yeah, white Earthlings I can handle. But,
he does help a lot of Earthlings, though, as this movie progresses, and almost very quickly.
Does he, though?
Yeah.
There's a sequence we'll get into as we get a little bit closer where I have questions.
He attempts to help everyone. His intentions are good.
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll get there.
We'll get there. He gets there, comes down. We discover Christopher Lloyd, who has problems with his boss. Larry Miller doing an excellent job playing a boss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he crushed it.
Yeah, crushed it. Every scene that Larry Miller was in, great. Hulk Hogan lands in a disco and that or a roller rink, which is the same thing. Yeah. Am I right in the 90s?
Yeah, it's the disco.
Then we get Hulk Hogan walking around, obviously against animal cruelty, which is where he gets his clothes, and then he meets up with Charlie Wilcox, Christopher Lloyd's character, where they are renting out a room at his house that I have questions. I want to have a discussion about
already.
This. I know we're running through a lot of the movie, but
you're really not missing much.
You're really not missing much. I'm basically, we are halfway through this movie already, but there are certain things I wanted to discuss with this, because I saw some things that were very puzzling to me. So Charlie Wilcox, he's trying to get a raise from his boss, and his boss is bossing around. And so this whole story is about Charlie gaining confidence in himself and getting out of his bubble of his shitty life. But where he gets refuge from his shitty life is his workspace. And he works on stuff, which is very productive. So he is taking out all his anger and his frustration and putting it forward in a positive way. And then his wife's like, nah, I'm going to get rid of that space. And turns it into a fucking bedroom.
Well, because he didn't get this promotion, so they need to make money somehow. And sometimes your little hobbies don't pay the fucking bills. That's why they're called hobbies.
Was that set in the movie?
No, it's just that's how I took it. That's just how I've been browbeaten my entire life. The things I like don't get to happen anymore.
Okay.
to make room for other things.
Because I was
Like the
gonna say,
NWA office.
like what you just said right there, that would be a great line to put in this
No.
movie we just watched.
See, they'd have had me on board.
Yeah, but they did not put that in the movie.
7, but I
So
could have been there.
It just looks like Shelley Duvall basically got rid of this man's only refuge in life. And now, like, it makes you question, is this the same, like, is Shelley Duvall's character in this movie the same character that was involved in The Shining? You know?
No wonder he was all work and no play. Or would it have been changed had she taken Jack Nicholson's room away?
Same.
Because then he wouldn't have had a place to work all the time. He'd have had to have chopped it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. No pun intended.
Maybe because she was like, well, I gave my last husband space. Then he tried to murder me. Yeah. So this husband, I have to take more of a charge and not make him out, working in the shed.
Which is why she went for a beta and Christopher Lloyd.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So.
Do you guys remember Shelley Duvall's bedtime stories?
No,
No
please
one ever remembers that.
discuss.
That's it.
Period.
She read bedtime stories, and I listened to them all the time. She had made videos. It was awesome.
Shelley Duvall's the best.
I knew her in that before I knew her in The Shining.
And
Suburban Commando.
And Suburban.
So eventually, Hulk Hogan comes to rent the room.
Very quickly. Like I did not
he
even
showed up.
pick up on how he had the flyer immediately.
Yeah.
Just happenstance.
Because she just let him know, like, oh, we're renting out this room. By the way, I'm here to rent out this room.
And it's very odd that we're doing this movie now, knowing we know about hindsight. That we have Hulk Hogan in now a spare bedroom, and he's befriending a man and his wife. And here's a bed. The only thing that's in this room is a bed.
That's all you need.
And Hulk Hogan is freely left alone while this woman is left at the house, and the husband goes off to work. I think you can all connect the dots of where this is all going now.
We're not saying that Christopher Lloyd's character's nickname was Love Sponge. But
or cuck. We're not saying that. We're not saying that. We're not putting that term on him.
Hulk Hogan, ever the bull.
Always the bull in a relationship. But Hulk Hogan is hiding on Earth. He can't power up any of his weapons because it'll be detectable to the people. And then, of course, Christopher Lloyd fucks everything up and turns all his equipment at all turns to let the bounty hunters get as close to Hulk Hogan as possible. Hulk Hogan is working out and lifting power tools.
Is that what it was? I thought it was a satellite dish.
No.
Like a direct TV.
That was like a drill, like a heavy duty workshop material,
like a press drill or whatever.
There's no way he should be pressing it, especially in the limited motion.
What was he doing? He was just doing
You don't need full extension, guys. It's all about the contraction on the muscles.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell... You're going to give Hulk Hogan workout advice here. That's your game here?
All right. Touche.
We get to... We run through this.
Also, you know what else annoyed me about that is how Christopher Lloyd, just because he's a scientist in 1991... just knew how to use this alien technology, like this futuristic. You could bring back Einstein, and if I gave him my cell phone, he's not going to be like, "Oh, I want to check my Twitter." Like he's going to be like, "What is this contraption?"
Yeah, he just all like, oh, this is obviously a gun, and I obviously turn it on here. And then also, too, when later on he puts the stuff on.
And then he shot it in his house. He shot a hole through his house.
Which left a good joke they could have ran of, absolutely everything it shot through in this long line of things. He could have looked through that hole and saw outside and a tree that was on fire because of the hole. Really dropped it on that one.
Absolutely. Also, too, I find it odd that because they live in Van Nuys, California, because that was what was on the screen when Larry Miller was looking through Christopher Lloyd's character's file. But why the fuck are there so many fucking Southern people working on cars and race cars in Van Nuys, California? I was like, this looks like fucking Gastonia, North Carolina right here. There's fucking a drag fucking car on the streets.
That's us.
Yeah, that's fucking us.
It's the New Age Beverly Hillbillies, bud.
That line, no irony, no kidding around. The line where they confront the guys working on the cars, and he goes, "This is the '90s. We're gonna sue you." That's a good line. That's a good joke.
Yeah,
that is. As soon as that started happening, that's when I remembered I'd seen this movie.
Yeah. That is the take. That's a big takeaway line.
Yeah. Same. That's so weird because that's the same exact feeling I had.
But they never really had a payoff to that. Like there could have been so much more. They could have fought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also too, like. From then on, like, Hulk Hogan's like, oh, fuck this. It's almost like Hulk Hogan's like, oh, fucking snowflades. Like, I feel like that's the tenor of this fucking
roid
movie.
rage is out right here.
Yeah, just like, oh, goddamn, there's no fucking men anymore. Like, why don't you fucking go on Joe Rogan's podcast? Chef Ramsay? Like,
how about doing DMT and get on with it?
Yeah, and fucking talk about cooking up elk meat or something.
Roast brother. Also,
too, there's some moments in this movie that are real fucking dark.
Like the attempted rape?
Yes.
Yes.
Also, the attempted like a murder of a child. Like he almost gets run over. Like it's.
And that happens right off the heels of the fucking race car guys.
Yes, that's why I was bringing it up because I brought that up, and then you see an attempted fucking rape later in the fucking movie.
This is what I was talking about. Like, everything happens in such weird succession, so fast. It's like, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and here's this.
And then you almost see a child murdered.
And
like,
the dad doesn't do anything.
He's pretty cool about it.
He's like, move. All quiet.
And then, like, he catches up with a car and flips it over, and he's getting ready to beat the shit out of the guy, and Christopher Lloyd's like, no, man, let's just go back to the house. I was waiting for him, like, no, let me do it.
Yeah, like... That's your fucking son.
Yeah.
You have this space alien that cares more about your fucking son. But that's
who hates Earthlings.
But that's another thing, too, is that there's not a lot of work done with bonding with Hulk Hogan and the kids.
That's true.
Well, it's not whatever Nanny movie he did.
I know that, but at the same time, too, like, it's a little bit of like when that fucking, at the end, when he pulled the gun to the family, there's been no emotional connection with the family. So when he's like, yeah, fucking kill him, I don't care.
Mine is Shelley Duvall. That's the only real kind of connection there was. She made him a whole cake.
Yeah, but also too.
That was my favorite part in the whole movie.
And let's not forget, there was some bonding over the Marsha Warfield show.
Yeah, her screaming, and then he almost killed the mailman.
Yeah, do you remember Marsha Warfield?
Not at all.
I had to look it up, and then all of a sudden I started having flashbacks to my life. She played Roz from Night Court.
Okay.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, you know Night Court. Okay. So I didn't lose you on Maurice Bender and Paul Verhoeven.
But I'm right back for Night Court.
But Marsha Warfield, you're in. Okay.
Harry Anderson and Bull.
Because I fucking forgot that she had a daytime talk show, and I remember watching it as a kid because I was a big fan of daytime TV as a child. Like in the summer times, like I would watch Marsha Warfield, Price is Right, Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless, like anything.
You can just stop talking about that before we judge you a lot.
Okay.
Fuck
Ricky
you.
Lake, Sally Jesse Raphael.
Guys, if you're not watching Young and the Restless, shut the fuck up about some stuff, all right? 12:30, here we go.
Donahue, all that. It was definitely fucking good.
Geraldo.
Yeah, they make the cake and eats it. As if he's never eaten food before.
When she's giving him the cake, though, she says, "This is an appreciation to everything you've done for us, specifically for saving our son."
It's just
the laziest writing
move the plot.
Guys, let's get this cake down.
There's a long list, but specifically, you saved
so he just hand eats that cake, but it's cut already in a slice.
As if he's never eaten food before, like substances he's never.
Like, if he would have like Cookie Monstered that cake, I would have totally bought that because he's some like Neanderthal from space. But he's just very like, okay, a cake.
That's
and then they take a real dumb picture.
That's the second time he eats food, and they make it seem like it's going to be a weird thing. In the beginning, when they were all eating together, doesn't he just put more like banana pudding on his plate, and then Christopher Lloyd looks at him all weird? It was strange.
Yeah, and then he's like taking his bread and like sopping up like bowls, you know, like. Yeah, like, does he know how to eat, or does he not?
That's just that's just how they ate in space. When you're a Suburban Commando,
everything is like floating. There's no gravity.
You have to eat
sloppy,
quick. You know,
very sloppy.
You're
process.
always in war. It's always wartime.
Yeah. Well. And he was eating that cake like he was all mad too.
Yeah.
Like, did he like eating the cake?
My first thought was, this motherfucker didn't eat that cake. That's not real cake.
Okay. Oh, so you're thinking it was that? See, I was thinking Hulk Hogan was like, I wish this was vanilla cake.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hulk Hogan's questionable moral compass, this is the part I want to talk about here.
Okay.
About was he a hero or not?
Okay.
So he stops a robbery because he
Yeah.
was just out on a night run, and then he just fucking fucks up a car because of a car alarm. So he like basically commits property damage.
But he didn't understand that.
But he's still like, is he a hero? Like he saved a robbery, sort of.
I mean, he prevented a robbery. He saved a child's life. He rescues a cat twice.
He punches a mime and throws a mime.
Well, I mean, first off, who the fuck around here is going to take up for a mime? That mime had it coming when it chose that job.
I like how the mime was performing in the middle of the night to no one by himself behind some trash
hanging
cans.
out.
Like in a
Just
dark.
miming.
Like, you mean like a rapist mime?
The John Wayne
Maybe
Gacy
he
of
stopped. Yeah, maybe he prevented something you didn't even know about.
And the mime got some revenge at 98 Starcade.
That's a good one. That's a good. I'll take that.
Okay.
All right. They're not getting any better than that.
No, it doesn't.
Hero, the mime.
And don't you mean 97?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, that would have been such a good joke if it would
If
have
you'd have got it out, right. Man, that'd have been a great punchline if that setup.
Story of my life.
Do you run a wrestling podcast? That's based in
That's why all these
stand-up?
dates are rambling around in here. I don't know.
Who died on that podcast? Who died on
Yeah,
that
they're both alive, so I don't know anything about them.
Yeah. Also, too, like, I find it weird that he's renting a room, but yet he's eating with the family. Like, what is entailed in this rent?
Well, it's 90s, man. You know, they're just weird and nice.
Is that going to be your explanation for everything on this podcast?
Yeah, that's my explanation for almost everything. It was a different time. Different time. That mime wouldn't dress that way if he didn't want to get the shit beat out of him.
And, let's see where we're at. So Charlie,
Done.
we almost are.
We're going to talk about other things here
Like,
soon.
we can't exaggerate enough on how fast they move the fucking plot.
And we
Like,
might be going real time to the movie.
yeah, we probably are. We're going scene for scene.
Christopher Lloyd finds the hand thing and knows exactly what to do with it. Prevents a rape.
Yeah.
But then he drops a gun. Like, just I don't know. I mean, think about if this sequence was in there with Danny DeVito. Just think about Danny DeVito, like, finding out he's actually a real commando. Let's go take all his guns out and fucking save somebody, and then leaves a gun behind that fucking tips off the fucking terrorists. Like, seriously. Hulk Hogan goes to Charlie's work because he knows that the space aliens are after him now, and like the way that Hulk Hogan talks to the secretary, like you're just like she's like no, and he smashes it. Like it got like he did it in such a way that wasn't comical. Like I'm mad. It was I'm like I will break you, bitch. Like it was fucking. It was
could
dark.
go one of two ways.
Yeah, it got dark, and then she like really fucking liked it.
Oh yeah,
But
she didn't have a safe word.
But then, but I don't know. We don't want to get into her daddy issues. Let's not discuss
We
that.
might need to make up time on this podcast.
I mean,
I loved her. I felt like she's the secretary you want. She was down for anything.
obviously, and like
Without a body.
and also too, she'd pull a gun out. This is a nice building where they have security officers and like. But it's so undangerous there that she has to keep a gun in her fucking desk or her purse. Like, she shows up to... Like, they're working in a nice building. And she just keeps a fucking gun on her at all times.
She's dressed in like nice business attire, but she's still like an open carry advocate. Like she has like a holster, like just showing it, you know.
You know I keep that stick on me, right?
Can you imagine her Facebook? Like, goddamn government trying to take away our fucking job. Like, if she, like her character existed in this world today, her fucking feed on her Facebook
She'd be
page.
president.
Oh, it'd be a fucking shit show. She had like an American flag in the background with a fucking eagle and this is my fucking America. Get
Take
the
this
fuck
gun
out.
from my cold dead hands.
Ugh.
That are nicely manicured.
But yeah, that's the type of secretary you want. Pulls a gun.
Yeah,
On
she's a
some-
ride or die bitch. That's your bottom bitch. When the bottom falls out, you still got her.
Yeah. Well, we still got to find this gun that apparently freezes people for comedic purposes.
Just so the pun here in a little while can make sense.
Absolutely. So it turns out the guys who were the rapists are now bank robbers.
You can't just have one specific thing.
Diversify.
Portfolio, man. Come on.
So they realize they have a freeze gun.
Well, when you say it that way,
Yeah.
it really discredits this movie.
You know what I hate? That there was no freeze line in the movie.
Well, if it was Schwarzenegger, we would have gotten all those Mr. Freeze lines.
Oh wow, he would have been in 2 movies where he froze.
Chill out.
Yeah, that's what it needed.
Well, don't forget about fucking Running Man, where he's like, Sub-Zero!
Oh, man.
Don't you mean single zero? Like, he says like the worst pun that made no sense. In Running Man. Double zero.
I love Running Man so
I do
much.
too. We're not that far away from living that reality.
You know?
So, not that far. But then, of course, he's freezing everybody, and then he goes to freeze Hulk Hogan.
At this point, I groaned audibly and like almost cut it off.
Oh, really? Because I just wrote down the words, really? Triple question mark.
Yeah.
Like, that was what I wrote down. What the fuck? He just pulls out and drinks antifreeze?
In such a small thing, like in just such a small container. At the same time as he's getting shot, like he's like, "Oh, get the freeze ready."
He was hulking up
Yeah.
with the antifreeze.
Oh man.
Like, it looked like a 5-hour energy bottle of antifreeze, too?
I think I could have believed absolutely any other explanation they could have given as to why he didn't freeze, except for antifreeze.
Like, go ahead, please.
I feel like this movie is a parody movie, but they didn't tell the actors that. Like, it's all weird, dumb gags like that, but with no irony or satire to it.
It's a parody of a movie that was never made.
What a great thing to teach kids in the 90s. Drink antifreeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing, too.
Hulk Hogan does it.
We're not far from the times where they had to take the handles off of refrigerators. This would be dead on. Don't drink that antifreeze.
Did they take handles off refrigerators?
Yeah, you
Kids
remember
were
like
getting
kids
stuck.
get stuck in refrigerators. They used to have those big metal side latches that would open that way. That's why they always made you put your like refrigerators down, or like old ones had the little front latch that would like lock it.
And then once you got in, you couldn't get out
Yeah.
because why would you
That's
be
why
in a
nowadays they're
refrigerator?
magnetic, but back then they had the big metal like handles.
Okay, the latch. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
One of those things that Indiana Jones made it through.
Okay. Well, I get it now. All right, that's fucking weird. We were that. We've always been this fucking dumb.
Yeah, man, forever.
We've all like. How did we reach this level as humanity?
Well, we had Suburban Commando as kind of a guide.
To drink antifreeze when you get super cold.
By the handfuls. Explains a lot. Obesity, stupidity, Alabama. 2 times.
So, the bounty hunters get away. They steal Just Married car for the fun of it.
This is one of the best things.
Is it?
Because they go to Surf Burger,
Okay.
and obviously the Surf Burger guy can see them.
Yeah.
And he is still all on board that they're married, and he's very happy for him. And that's progressive as fuck.
Yeah,
it
it
is
really
really
is.
progressive.
Yeah, it's really beautiful that they...
Oh man, you guys are just married. You're a great couple. Now the fact they have a wedding burger is real weird. But other than that,
I think that's sweet.
yeah.
That is funny because like even in California in 1981, was gay marriage legal?
Oh, probably not. No, definitely not.
Definitely not. Like so, like how could?
That's just a normal. That's a more recent thing than nothing.
Yeah.
Which I heard. So it's off subject.
By all means,
we've got time to kill.
We got a little bit
I
of
was
time.
listening to NPR the other day because I'm that kind of person. And
Virtue
they were
signaling.
talking to the original couple that were like the turning point for gay marriage, and like that the lesbian couple. They got divorced like really quick after they were the ones that won the fight to make it legal. And they were just telling their whole story and how crazy it was, and how people would tell them like, "You guys are ruining the LGBTQ community by breaking up and getting a divorce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
So what you're saying is every hack comedian ever was right?
Oh,
I want them to
man.
get married so they can be miserable like I am?
Yeah. They said it was like 2 years and they got a divorce after it happened just because there was so much press and media around it.
I get it.
Man. Can't have nothing. But yeah, these guys are real progressive over at Surf Burger.
Yeah, these are the hard-hitting, important issues that Suburban Commando fought for.
Yep. And unbeknownst to Hulk Hogan. He probably put a kibosh on that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's like, I'm cool with Pat Patterson and all, but come on.
Yeah. We're gonna say it like that.
Yeah. So Hulk Hogan's ready to peace out.
And they shoot the Surf Burger guy.
Yeah.
They shoot the sign.
Yeah, they do that. Then Hulk Hogan's like, there's a whole packing scene, and then of course, like I like how we use the Chekhov's gun theory for the crystals in the boss's office, but we don't do that for the antifreeze. I just like how we're like, we have to establish something earlier and then use it later, but then we're just going to have this random antifreeze gag. Like, we have just enough thought to do that, but when it comes to this gag right here, nah, fuck it, you know? Like, I feel like that was like filmed later in the shooting schedule. Like, they had this set up with the crystals being the thing that powered the ship, and so they're like, okay, we'll get this set up, and then they're like, all right, this is not going well, and Hulk Hogan's been on set for multiple days, and he's like, oh, I gotta get out of here, you know, I gotta get back to the Fed, brother. And they're just, and it's like, it's not going well. Burt Kennedy's like, you are no John Wayne, sir. And he's like, what the fuck are we gonna do? I don't know. Why don't you just drink some antifreeze?
That's a great idea. And Hulk Hogan took over directing for the day.
Yeah.
Like, I got it, brother.
Either that or Vince McMahon showed up.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm drinking antifreeze.
I was like, have him drink antifreeze.
Just fuck it, whatever. Just get it.
Just get it. Let's go.
I feel like they just kind of added a bunch of stuff later anyway.
Yeah.
Because do you remember when he's like, a homing device? When they figured out that they had a homing device to find the gun in the first place. He's like, why didn't we think of that before? And then all Hulk Hogan said was, shut up. And then they just moved on. I feel like they found plot holes and they're like, we'll fill it in. Hulk Hogan will say shut up, and then everything will be fine.
entire arcade scene?
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to add. Look, he punches a mime. He fucks up somebody's car. He accidentally breaks up a robbery. And he breaks a video game.
By beating it, though. So now here's how that would have been the best scene of all time.
Hit me on it.
If at the very beginning when he's in his little spaceship that's doing fucking barrel rolls left and right, if it was him and another guy, and they had that exact same verbatim conversation, except it was Hogan suggesting all the things they do, and the other guy telling him, no, that's stupid. And then now it pays off back here, where he's telling this kid, no, that's stupid, this is what we gotta do, and he becomes that guy.
Once again,
that should have been around 91.
Once again, how did this get booked? Fucking makes your movie better.
Wait till I go and remake Suburban Commando.
Who would you make it with?
It would be Dean Ambrose. I told you, Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, and my unassuming. Ooh.
What part Dean Ambrose would play? He'd be the bounty hunter?
No, he would be. Him and Bray Wyatt could be both the bounty hunters.
Okay, well, who would be the Hulk Hogan part?
John Cena. I mean, come on.
All right.
Unassuming Christopher Lloyd character. That would be a Charlie Day.
I can see that.
Yeah, Charlie Day.
Okay.
Can't be the waitress though as the wife. I don't know who the wife would be.
All right. What about you, Spencer? Who would you recast?
Who's your
As the
remake?
wife?
No, just as the whole group.
The whole group.
Oh man, as the whole group?
Schwarzenegger and Dane DeVito.
Yeah, exactly. I was on board from that. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is a lot of pressure. I'm gonna cheat off Zane and say everyone he chose. That is who I would choose.
How about you?
They go Eddie Murphy style, where The Rock is every single character.
See, I
would accept that white face as a Rock. I would accept whiteface Rock.
We do need a black character because
you're right,
this is the point in the movie where I turned to Nick and said, has there been a black person in this movie? And we recalled that there was one in the beginning. There was a black man who said something unintelligible.
Something jive.
Yeah, in the beginning of the movie. And then there was I think he was like an Indian man who kind of yelled at Hulk, and that was it.
Yeah. That was
their quote. It was
when I was going through the IMDb page, there was that person is credited as bystander.
As black guy. But Indian man.
To jump on yours, Nick, you kind of took half of my answer. I would have cast Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Hulk Hogan's part.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
Kevin Hart.
Fuck you, yeah.
Get this to Hollywood right now.
Yeah, there it is.
See, you just book those, and you don't fucking need anything else.
If we're gonna keep adding people of color in this, Danny Trejo is one of the bounty hunters.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Maybe because Machete goes to space.
Yeah, that's how
He becomes a badass bounty hunter
Yeah.
and then comes back. So then so this movie exists in the Shining universe, but this remake exists in the fucking Machete universe.
Then the boss would be, was it Kim? The Chinese guy.
Dr. Kim.
Dr. Kim.
Oh,
Dr. Kim.
Gale.
Oh, that would be great.
He would be the boss.
Yeah, let's take all these white people and throw them out.
But if we're gonna have Kevin Hart as Christopher Lloyd, I still want a white woman as Shelley Duvall. Throw ahead and throw in a mixed relationship in there just for good measure.
Yeah, let's make sure this doesn't run in the South at all. Even if
Oh, please, hell yeah. Christina Applegate. Here we go.
I love Christina Applegate.
yes, we got a book.
Guys, actually, everybody, please forget the last 10 minutes that you've listened to this. We have some writing to do. Cut this shit off. We got bigger things to do. Cancel your show.
Let's all just get together and reconvene and rewrite the script for this and just say, hey, we want Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Holy shit, guys. Then we can call it Urban Commando. If this wasn't your mic, I would drop it. I'm just going to go ahead and go out on top. Paramount, get at me.
Man, nothing's gonna get better. Like,
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, you just want to wrap this up? Like, what do we do now?
Because it's definitely like where the movie starts falling apart for me. Where they have to go to the office to get the crystals, but they're going during a party. Like, don't you think like, hey, the crystals are here? There just happens to be a party tonight.
Yeah.
Like there's no mention that there's going to be a big event at the office whatsoever.
Yeah. That could be an easy, like, early setup.
Yeah.
We have to get this done before the party.
Yeah, like there's not like
We have a party for the Chinese guys that came.
like there are
The
lines.
Japanese.
There are lines where like you could just tie everything together, but no, not at all. Like there's one little words.
Mm-hmm.
It just they really were hoping that Hulk Hogan's charisma
Just gonna carry this whole fucking thing. Just put on your shoulders.
whole fucking thing. And yeah, so all the party was done was just as a gag to put them in tuxedos.
Yeah.
That's it. Because putting Hulk Hogan in a tuxedo is the funniest thing ever, apparently.
Did it have sleeves? I forgot.
It did.
See, out.
Nick asked where he got the tuxedo. Like, did he bring it from space?
Christopher Lloyd just has a tux that fits a 6'6", 300-pound man.
It fits 20-inch biceps.
Yeah.
Also, they offer him hors d'oeuvres, and he looks terrified. Back to food.
He's got some food issues.
Like the lady walked by with the hors d'oeuvres tray, and he just stared at it like it was a fucking snake in a babysitter.
And I thought I had food issues.
No, Hogan is just perplexed.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like the level, like that story of the Ultimate Warrior, where at catering, he takes all the cookies and he smushes them up into dust, and then he smells them and then throws it in the trash. He's like, I can't eat them because it'll ruin my diet, but I just want to smell them.
I need that in me.
Yeah.
I need its essence. He took its soul.
Yeah.
That's where the spirit of the warriors come from. They're chocolate chip cookies.
It sounds like a promo of his. And then I'll crush the cookie and
That's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, this whole thing is just a bit to get Hulk Hogan in a tuxedo and puts him in front of Marge again, who is smitten with Hulk Hogan. She is thirsty, as the kids would say.
She's a real big thought at the moment.
And then, of course, the awards aren't where they're supposed to be. And when they find the awards, they're upstairs in the new wing, which was never mentioned at all. But then they put these heavy crystals in plastic fucking trash bags. fucking plastic trash bags. The heaviest crystals ever in this trash bag. But it doesn't fucking make a difference because the bounty hunters show up.
Yeah.
And to intimidate Hulk Hogan, they take a bar and they bend it. And they hand it to the other guy and he straightens it. And then they hand it to Hulk Hogan and he makes a bunny out of it.
Which is probably the most creative writing in this entire fucking movie.
Like, there are bits in this movie that makes me go, was this written by the same people that wrote the movie Airplane? Like, like the fucking Abrams like in charge of this movie? Is this a Farrelly Brothers movie all of a sudden? Like, yeah, I don't fucking know.
But maybe it's like the strong feminism character, like the progressive gay marriage character. Maybe this is a metaphor for how we can solve our differences without violence, but by bending a metal bar.
Well, it didn't work because then they commenced to fighting, and then a man dies because of that trapdoor incident that's about to occur.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, yeah. And this is where we start seeing a lot more wrestling puns. Like, I feel like they were filming...
Is this a tag team?
Yeah, like, and there's like a couple other like wrestling fucking terms that they pull out of nowhere that are just like, oh, we've just now broken the fourth wall now about like wrestling terms. Like, because I feel like they're like, well, you know, there's not enough like, you know, inside jokes here. You know, like, you know, because we have a bunch of lame jokes, but we need some inside jokes for the people that are showing up here.
For the smart marks out there.
And, well, if you were a smart mark, you would have saw that in this fight sequence, you're going to see the eventual Survivor Series and Tuesday in Texas main event where Hulk Hogan fights The Undertaker.
Who has rocket boots.
Rocket boots.
Brother.
So, what about this whole action sequence?
His voice is the best
yeah,
thing.
That was the best part. That made me so
the
happy.
entire movie. The cake and the voice. That voice would still be the same voice in the new remake, though. Would do the exact same voice.
Well, and think about it, too. The Undertaker didn't talk on WWF television for quite a while. Like,
yeah.
I don't think he said any words, like, when he was first introduced. So, if you watch Suburban Commando, and then you were watching WWF television, and you saw this guy who came out and never spoke, you're like, oh, it's because he's got a baby voice. And he's just basically Mike Tyson. Like, that's what you would have thought.
He's got a child's voice.
Because in 91, Mike Tyson would have been around. So you're like, oh, yeah, he just has a baby voice. So, like, you would have thought, like, I'm surprised Dave Meltzer didn't report on that.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why The Undertaker needs a Paul Bearer or Brother Love is because he has a baby voice. Like... Even though he clearly talked in Memphis.
Yeah, you know.
When he was Master of Pain, and then he was...
Mean Mark,
and part of the Skyscrapers, and all that. So we get through all this, and he disposes of the bounty hunters, but don't worry, General Suter just makes an appearance out of fucking nowhere, and commits just common burglary and breaks in. Like, here is this space being that once you cut him, he turns into this predator-like animal. And he is a general of an army that commits genocide upon planets. And what does he do? He just, instead of kick down the door, he's like, nah, I'm going to sneak in at the door. You know, like...
I don't want to be loud about it.
Don't be loud about it.
I'm not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because if your argument is he a good guy, then is Suter a bad guy? No, not really. He didn't break in. He just kind of, or he didn't kick the door. He just kind of jiggled the handle a bit.
Yeah,
he's a bad guy, but he's not like a bad guy.
He's not the worst guy.
Like,
yeah. But like, if he's like, I don't give a fuck about these people, but you give a fuck about like making too much noise. Like, shouldn't you just bust in? I'm like, I'm General Suter. You're my captives now. Like it was definitely not in the budget, obviously, to do anything big or grandiose, for sure.
Yeah,
because they definitely wouldn't have made the money back on it if they did.
So we're at a point now in this movie. A lot of things have happened in fast succession. But here in a moment is where he just like he's thinking about just leaving the family behind or whatever to get on the ship and fucking off. And then last second he decides to hop out and save the day proper. Is this the very beginning of the conflict of the movie? Because there has been no real other drama. I mean, there's been a fight. But there's been no real tug of war of character up until this one moment.
Yeah, like at this moment in time where he's like, oh, these people have finally grown on me, but we've done nothing to show that these people have grown on you.
So we spent an hour and 15 minutes of a movie just to then go, okay, now here's the real conflict, and we'll solve it in 2 minutes. Exposition for the finish. And like this is the weirdest thing ever. It's all been rising to this point.
And I like that General Suter, he picks the girl to hold the gun up to. The girl who has been in 2 scenes.
Has not said a word.
Not said a word and has had no connection with Hulk Hogan. It would have made sense if you would have took, David Faustino's little brother and be like, I will murder Bud Bundy's younger brother. Because then not only does Hulk Hogan have a connection with the child who he saved, but also us as an audience member can have a connection with him because he's Bud Bundy's younger brother.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that we have here to work with. Because the kids...
Basically, that sister had no need to be in this movie.
Yeah, really.
There was no...
She had 2 lines. She said, when he said he was from Europe, she said, how romantic. That's the only thing she said throughout the whole movie.
She was like a
contributed
producer's daughter
Yeah,
or something.
she was someone's kid.
You weren't even needed for this.
That was like her shining moment.
Yeah.
How romantic, and being picked up by Hulk Hogan and then dropped down and we're holding onto your head. That's
Should have
it.
just said Mark the whole time.
Yeah. You would have been, like I said, like the kid, like you don't need another kid here.
Like there could have been a moment at the beginning when Mark found the gun first and was going to shoot it, and then Hulk found him and was like, not all wars are meant to be fought here. Some dumb shit like that. Took the gun from him, and then when Christopher Lloyd does it, he's a dumb fuck up. And God, just look out for Urban Commando. That's all I'm saying. 2023, that shit's gonna be fucking fire. Key and Peele, they're on. They're gonna be there. They're gonna help me produce it and direct it.
Regardless of all that, General Suter is thwarted by Christopher
Turns
Lloyd.
into somewhat of an alien.
Somewhat.
There's like
the
green tentacle deal.
All the way fucking alien. Brother's all fucking alien. Like, big fucking predator-looking motherfucker. Like, yeah. Turns into a big-ass fucking alien. Christopher Lloyd drives this fucking piece of shit car in.
I feel that's the only thing they teased at the beginning and it actually paid off at the end. Because at the beginning, didn't his eyes like start turning colors? Like he was getting ready to alien out, but then it didn't. Mm-hmm. The one callback they used to pay off.
That and the crystals. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that came back around. So then they thwart the villain. Charlie comes in. He quits. And then fucking magically Hulk Hogan has another ship all of a sudden. No fucking explanation. Also, too, here's the other thing, too. Christopher Lloyd has quit his job.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan is a space alien who has no money whatsoever. How did A, we build this ship, and B, how do you have access to a fucking helipad?
Well, I mean, they spent all their money on the goddamn helipad.
They are on top of a building.
That's why they needed the raise. They put in this helipad.
They're on top of this fucking building where the ship's going to take off. Did you build this ship on top of this building? Like, how... Or did you like, hey, let's fucking take it up to this fucking helipad so we can have a dramatic exit? When you could have just had to take off from the building you just fucking blew up. Like, that would have been a little bit more believable. Because, like, here's an open field and we're going to take off from here. No. Let's take off from on top of a building just to make it more dramatic. And also, too, how the fuck did this ship get here?
What was that? Was it not the ship that Suter rode in?
Okay, well, I'll buy that.
That'd be the only thing that I could think of.
Okay.
Because he had to get there somehow.
Okay, yeah, I can get that.
And then so did...
but he said it was like escape pod, so he would have to...
He said there was more than one escape pod.
Okay, so he go to the escape pod and he found another ship.
Was that not another escape pod?
No, the escape pods were like a bubble.
Yeah, okay.
They're like that little G.I. Joe.
Well, maybe he did find another ship.
He probably found another ship. Well, that
he even says, like, there was more than one escape pod, which explains how he gets away. Uh-huh. But then, or maybe it was Undertaker and Old Brother's ship.
Okay, all right. So
We'll explain it a little bit more clearly in Urban Commando.
See, any questions I have with fucking Suburban Commando, I feel like I should have just went to you as opposed to people that produced the fucking movie.
Yeah, don't need to worry about it.
Because you've answered more fucking questions than I've had about this fucking movie than the fucking movie answered it fucking self.
Take that, IMDb. Let me just go. I can edit that, right? I can just go. It's like a Wikipedia.
So... But yeah, that's basically the movie right there. And then Christopher Lloyd.
We get the big payoff of the one running gag.
Yeah.
Of the stoplight.
Yeah. So they break the stoplight. That's it.
Oh, you guys missed the sick skateboarding he did.
Oh yeah, he brought that down. He brought that back too, where he could skateboard all of a sudden. And then we brought back the cat, and the girl catapulted away?
Yeah.
So he killed that girl.
It was.
So we're right back to.
No, he ran and caught her, didn't he?
He did. He did catch her.
He did catch her, and then she became Peggy from Mad Men.
Yeah, there you
go. What else can we say?
Ooh, maybe she's the wife instead of Christina Applegate, just for callbacks.
Okay, all right, I'll take
Nice.
that. Also, too, in that scene right before he skateboards, what was that fucking outfit that Hulk Hogan was wearing?
Parachute pants.
Yeah, the Zubaz pants.
Zubaz.
Yeah,
That's what I was
the
trying to
word.
think of.
They were Zubaz, but they look like a fucking dress your mom would wear in 1991 that she made herself. And then the tightest blue shirt of all time, and then red sneakers.
You mean my Halloween outfit? Yeah. What about it? Let's talk about it.
I took a picture of it. It's on our Facebook page
Great.
right now, just to anticipate for this episode.
Just to get you all ready.
Yeah, and that's basically the end of the movie. Thoughts, Spencer? On this movie?
I didn't have any of the nostalgia, and I was seeing it for the first time, so I got the full effect.
Okay, so what would you feel while this is going on?
I felt threatened by Hulk Hogan. I'm just kidding. I felt like it was a movie that a child would like in the 90s. I did not fault Nick's childhood for him really enjoying it. And other than that, I was very confused the entire time.
What are some things that you were confused? We talked about the things that I was confused about. What are some things that you were confused about?
The scene where he plays the games with the children. Why were there 15 unattended? Was it not the middle of the night? And they were in a building where there was a woman leaving, and she gets her purse stolen, right? And then on the other side of the building there was a mime performing for no one, and then inside of the building there were 15 unattended children playing video games. But it was all the middle of the night, right?
Yeah, because you go home right when the streetlights come on.
Yeah,
that's the rule.
Dad or mom whoop that ass. He gets spanking time.
It was filled with plot holes. But I did like the shut up. They did it several times throughout the movie where he said shut up when they referenced a plot hole. And he would just say shut up in response. I thought that was good. I didn't think that was lazy writing. I thought that was the best thing they could have done for this movie.
They were accidentally creative for a moment.
Yeah, exactly. They should have done it for every single
They
part
nailed
of the
it
movie.
on accident.
Yeah, like every plot hole, somebody's like, well, what about this? And they just say, shut up. And okay, that's the line we're going to put in there. Great. Yeah, that's going to get it. Anything else, Spencer?
I was just really proud of him. He didn't say the N-word once.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Okay,
but
great.
other than that, it was terrible. It was not the best movie.
I mean, you only had one person he could have said it to. So,
Yeah.
And we don't really know what
And
is.
he was such a small character in the movie. He didn't really have time.
yeah. Nick, what does this movie hold up in your mind?
Dave Meltzer, 5 stars. Roger de Ebert, 2 thumbs up.
Tokyo Dome.
4.5 stars on Yelp.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch it again next time I'm left unattended for the weekend.
So you remember it just as well as you lived it again just as well as you remembered it.
You know, it was. I had realistic expectations of what it was gonna be, so I still kind of enjoyed it. It is objectively terrible.
Okay.
But also kind of good.
I when I remembered that I'd watched this movie, I was like, oh, now I know why that I had forgotten that I've seen this movie. Because it is a very meh movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was going on in the background of my life, even as a young kid who was excited about Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
And now as a 37-year-old man and was watching it as a podcast, it was still in the background of my life.
Yeah.
Zane, how'd you feel about it?
This movie is terrible if you watch it by yourself or in a small group. Now, if you had like 5 or 6 of your buddies over and you're like, guys, let's get fucked up, let's watch this goddamn movie, and let's have a great time. It would be the best movie ever.
Amen.
It's
Yeah, I
very
can see that
riff
for
tracksy. Sure. You can Mystery Science Theater 3000 this thing, not miss anything. The bigger the group, the better this movie is going to be. the movie's terrible, but in a good way. I agree. Like it's awful, but like I would totally watch it again.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, let's conclude our discussion of Suburban Commando. But Nick, Spencer, both comedians. You both have things you'd like to plug. Twitter,
Well, now you want to acknowledge
Instagram.
that Nick is a comedian.
Yeah.
Now we're going to acknowledge it.
I did an open mic Tuesday, okay?
I'm back in.
Well, that's why I said things to plug. This he has a podcast he has to plug, and you know, unlike the murderous trader that sits over
plug your podcast, Nicholas.
Yeah. Who's always trying to
Plug
sneak
your
in.
goddamn podcast.
So, but both of you, please plug everything you got coming up. This is going to come out months from now. If there's any big projects you're working on, but mostly just let people know where they can find out about you and follow you on social media and such.
You can follow me at Spencer Taylor. I make it all difficult. SpencaTayla on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and I post all the shows that I have upcoming, both improv and stand-up.
I am Nick O-less-A on Instagram and Twitter. Don't use Facebook anymore. It's an evil thing. Don't use it anymore. But just listen to Tim Bill Pod. Tim Bill Pod. I'm there. Jake is there. Micah's drunk.
Zane Riley, you got anything to plug?
Yeah. I have this great podcast that I do. It's called Extra Talented, a wrestling podcast. It's a wrestling podcast where I, a person who's done extra talent work, interview someone else who's done extra talent work that hasn't stabbed me in the back by bringing their other podcast partner to the goddamn interview. We talk about catering, we talk about paydays, we talk about fun stories, then we talk about what makes them them. You can hear 2 episodes of Jake Manning. One is very happy, one is very sad, and for some reason, one episode has like 60 more plays than the other.
Oh wow, Zane, you got nothing to say? Surprisingly, I like.
Just find me on Twitter, ZaneXCore. Suck it.
I was gonna say, like, because I have editorial control. So, like, all of a sudden, I asked you.
Sorry, nah, dude, I'm good. Don, if you just edit all that out right there.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go, Don. Right on the tag.
Nah, man, I'm good.
There you go. See, what'd you pick it up from there?
Yeah.
Proper answer.
I also take out that part where I explained it, and this part, Don.
All of it. The whole thing's a bit.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you might take out this whole podcast. Go right ahead.
Actually, you know what? Just go back to where we just said Urban Commando and just cut it there.
But yes, we mentioned Don, who is actually the guy who helps produce this podcast. If you want him to make your podcast sound good, make sure you go to sixsquirrelstudio.com. Also, too, if we mess anything up, or if you want to yell at me for something, or if you're the guy who's labeled as bystander on IMDb, get up with me and let me know if Hulk Hogan was nice to you on the set.
We'll send you a free t-shirt.
We'll send you a free t-shirt, but you can get up with me at ManScoutManning on Instagram and Twitter, or you can email me at jake@sslshow.com. Yes, I know it's a very old email, and that show doesn't exist anymore, but what does exist is howdidthisgetbooked.com, which is actually where my merch is. So if you're a fan of me, make sure you buy a t-shirt and such. But most importantly, if you want a free t-shirt, you can just leave a review on iTunes and Stitcher. Big thanks to Eric Ells and Ben Bird once again. Make sure you follow us, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher. We're now on Spotify, guys. Make sure you follow us on Spotify as well. Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever podcasts are available. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of How Did This Get Booked?
Woo.